Have you seen the original 1979 teaser trailer for Ridley Scott's Alien? It's like the scariest trailer I have ever seen. That sound, which I don't think is really music, it's just more like a sound, but it's horrible. It's brilliant. Now, it doesn't in any way look like a low-budget movie, but I have in recent weeks discovered that the very beginning of that trailer starts with a very no-budget effect.
I didn't join the company till 84, so this is a little before my time, but anyway, here's that recipe to the 1979 teaser to Alien. It's 1 egg, 1 tray of uncut brownies. True story.
Yeah, I know, right? An egg and a brownie. Possibly the most genius thing I've ever seen done with food in film. And watching this trailer, watching the way that particular part was done, led me on a little bit of a research project. And in doing this research, I actually discovered that there are 3 key special effects moments within Alien where those effects are actually done for very little money at all, despite the fact the film cost $11 million to make. So the first problem Ridley Scott had to overcome was in that scene where his characters land on the alien space world. The alien space world? Maybe it's just an alien world. And they see the alien spacecraft. Now, whilst Ridley Scott thought that model looked pretty fantastic, he also thought that the planet on which it sat, the model that had been created, didn't really hold up under close examination. Even though the film had a pretty generous budget, I think most of that had already been assigned, and so there was no time or money to do anything with this set. So Ridley Scott had the idea of grabbing an old 1979 household camcorder and using that to film his model. So he picked up that camera and shot that scene handheld. He then took that footage and ran it through an old style monitor, and that is the footage that we see in the original cut of Alien. It's fuzzy, it's blue, it's jittery, but it holds the audience's eye on the thing that matters most, the spaceship, and not the other bits of model that might make them think to themselves, oh, it's a model. Ridley Scott knew this, and that's why in some circumstances, if some of the things you're working with are pretty terrible, the only way to make them better is to make them more terrible. The second instance of a very low budget effect within Alien is in the scene where Kane, played by John Hurt, descends into the belly of the alien spacecraft. Now, whilst he's down there, he accidentally slips, knocks into one of the alien eggs, and it starts to come alive. It starts to open up. Now, we all know what happens in this moment if you've seen Alien, and if you haven't, you really need to go and see it. But as poor John Hurt's character looks into the egg, now, according to Ridley Scott, these days that kind of shot could be done in post-production, just for the relatively small cost of $500,000. Do you have that? I don't. But Ridley Scott was really adamant that you don't need to spend that much money on post-production to create a really engaging and thrilling shot. He got a member of his production team to visit a local meat market and buy up all the lovely bits of animal that people don't generally eat, including some cow skin. Yes, that is very gross, but sometimes in horror movies you just have to go to the local supermarket and buy all the odd bits of meat produce you can. Then Scott took a pair of rubber gloves, dipped them in liquid fiberglass, and used his own hands inside the egg to create the natural movements we see of the face of it before it pops out. The last very inexpensive effect that Scott used in Alien was all to do with lighting. Now, most of Alien is shot with these harsh spotlight effects, giving dark lines, shadows everywhere, and a lot of this is probably just hiding some of the blemishes when it comes to props and costumes and models even. But that kind of lighting isn't all just about function. It actually helps create a really sinister and claustrophobic mood to Alien. By the climax of the movie, where Ripley, Sigourney Weaver's character, is trying to get off the spaceship before she's eaten by the alien, Ridley Scott and the crew had kind of got bored of this lighting effect. They've been doing it the entire movie, and at this point, with the stakes raised, they really felt like they needed to up the ante. In those final moments, the ship that they are on is going through a self-destruct process. The systems on the ship kind of breaking down and panicking because they're all about to be blown to smithereens. So Scott decided to get a bunch of strobe lights and attach them to the head of a camera dolly. That way, as they were shooting, they could delay lighting, they could move it around and give this real panicky, anxiety-driven look throughout those final scenes. So there you have it, with a bad camera, a pair of rubber gloves and some dodgy meat produce and some simple light effects, you can actually take these no-budget elements and put them into a really sleek-looking movie, which means you can do the same thing with your film too. Alien is not a film that we remember today because it cost $11 million to make. It's a film we remember because of how creepy and how visually memorable it is. Some of that is because of the inexpensive tricks Ridley Scott employed to create that tension. What's the best low-budget special effect you've seen in a movie? Tell me about it in the comments below. I'd love to hear all about it. And if you want to know how to hire Nicolas Cage for an independent film, then click on this video here, as it's going to tell the story of how 2 independent filmmakers did just that. I'll see you there. Thanks for watching, filmmaker.